take my stapler, I'm gonna burn the building down. Hey guys, it's Christopher, aka the Bronze Age Nerd, and we have some stuff to talk about today. So there's a lot of drama coming out of C2E2 today as we talk about a Crain cover for Ultimate Fallout 4. And there's a lot to talk about here, but basically here's the deal. And I'll just mention this straight up, because when I say this about this comic book, there's gonna be a lot of people that say, oh, you're just mad because you didn't get any, or because you can't flip any, something like that. That comment would definitely be coming if I didn't mention that I had an opportunity to buy this comic book for $180 from the Comic Corner, which is a fantastic store, by the way. And I had that opportunity through a Discord server I'm part of called Department of Comics. It was just on their website, but that information was shared over there. I was aware of that early yesterday. In fact, I even told people in my collector group of friends, hey, you should probably go buy this. I think it's going to be hot. I'm going to pass for now. Well, this comic book definitely isn't going for $180 most of the time now, or at least not on the surface, because what's happening is this comic book is getting that FOMO, that convention exclusive FOMO. And this is a Black Flag Comics exclusive. There's some interesting details that have come out about this comic book. So the first thing is that apparently this is just a facsimile of UF4 with a acetate cover stapled to it. In fact, Black Flag themselves said that. I'll post the link here where they said that in the group. Thanks to the person that shared that with me, so I have that to include here. So now, you know, I've heard this was done without Marvel's permission. That's totally a rumor at this point. I have no information to substantiate that, but that's interesting. If it was done without Marvel's permission, will CGC even continue grading these? Now, the interesting thing about this is CGC already has graded these. Now, shouldn't that be a married cover? I would think, because essentially what they're saying is that this cover was stapled on after the fact. It had staple holes, I guess, printed into it, and it was stapled onto existing facsimile covers. That doesn't sound like a new print to me. That sounds like it was done after the fact. So if Marvel didn't know about this, that's a problem. And if CGC didn't know about that, they didn't catch it, to me, that's a problem as well. But again, I don't really have a horse in the fight as far as, you know, I'm not trying to vilify Black Cape here, not by any stretch of the imagination. I actually have next to no experience with Black Cape. I just think that this is pretty interesting as far as, should that be allowed? And, you know, hopefully Marvel was aware that that's what they were doing with this comic book, because I think that's the bigger salient issue here. Now, the next thing that comes to me is from another viewer who shared a Facebook post with me. And I've also seen this kind of mentioned online a little bit as well. And that is, there is an account from the girlfriend of an exhibitor that was at C2E2, allegedly, who was in line, supposedly 15th person in line to pick up these at the vendor booth. Again, as an exhibitor. This was before the show opened for the public. I'm gonna have this posted up here as well. I'm gonna read from it a little bit for you. So this was even before a VIP access opened up, according to the poster. And what they're saying is that this person doesn't sell comics, so he's not too well known in the comic community, but we are collectors. The interesting thing about that to me is that you are in line as an exhibitor. I don't really know how that works. Maybe that's an interesting bit of data right there. Maybe it's not. I've actually never been an exhibitor at a convention. I don't know what that means as far as what access you get. They're talking about having VIP access. So people who know more than I do can interpret that correctly. I don't know exactly why that doesn't add up to me. If you don't sell comic books, how are you an exhibitor? That's the first thing that jumps out to me. But still, they say they saw that it sold out 15 minutes after that it went up for sale. Sorry, that it sold out within 15 minutes of the show floor opening to general admission. She saw multiple retailers, representatives of retailers, social media influencers, and big-time live auction sellers walk up to the front of the line, request an absurd amount of copies, their words. One asked for and received, without question, 125 copies. And the requests were granted, no questions asked, right in front of those who were waiting in line. Now, they do mention the price of the book, so I think that does play into it a little bit, but they're talking about more of the clickiness of the industry, allowing a small few to benefit while the vast majority of regulars are left with the scraps. And those in the front of the line let their buddies cut in and take however many they wanted. Now we have no chance to buy, even an inflated price at the table, but instead are looking at 2.5 times the cost on the secondary market. Furthermore, they talk about how you have big names pushing this and driving FOMO, which is definitely something I'm going to talk about. And I'm not even aware of who these people were that cut in line. I'm not calling them out specifically, but I think there's something very problematic about this story we just heard. If we take it at face value, I have no reason not to, but I'm just saying this is one person's account. If this is what happened, that's very problematic. Put yourself in their shoes. You're standing in line, you have the special access to get in there, which by the way, is this whole nother layer of people getting a hold of these things anyway. But that's been known in the convention circles for a long time. Is you get in early, you buy the cool exclusives, all the best deals happen dealer to dealer before the show floor even opens. We've heard that stuff for a long time. That's nothing new. But now you have these people waiting in line to buy this special comic book they're really excited about, and they're not able to do it because big influencers, sellers, that sort of thing are able to cut to the front of the line and just ask for however many they want and get them. Is that right? Now, the other side of the argument, of course, is Black Cape is a business. They can conduct their business however they like. But we're customers, and we get to have opinions about how those businesses operate. Again, I don't know much about Black Cape other than this incident, other than a couple exclusives I've seen of theirs. I'm really not familiar with them as a business, and I'm not trying to comment on their business etiquette based on this one post. But we do need to talk about this because it is something that people are definitely taking note of. I am not in favor of allowing influencers of any kind to cut in line and buy unlimited or mostly unlimited quantities of these books. Now, I am a kind of social media influencer. I'm still a relatively small channel. I think that should be said too. If I showed up at an event like this, I would think it's cool to get access to something like that for sure. But if I looked at a giant line of people that were waiting there to buy them, and kind of realizing, well, this is so limited. If we're all buying dozens or hundreds of copies of this book, they're probably not going to get theirs. That would definitely put a sour on it to me. Now, I think there should be a limit for each one of these people. I think they should have had to wait in line or order in advance, for example. Maybe they said, hey, we're pre-ordering 50 copies from you for our whatnot shows this weekend. If that deal was worked out in advance, that'd be completely different. Conversely, if the retailer had said, at the head of the line, there's a little sign that says something like, only 300 copies are going to be made available to the public, something like that, that also would be some more transparency. If you know me, you know that my biggest thing is I want these organizations to be transparent about their actions. A lot of stuff in the comic book industry at all levels happens in kind of a good old boys club sort of way. And it's one of the reasons that if I ever get preferential treatment, stuff like that, I really try to carefully disclose that to you, my audience, to let you know that that is baked into what happened here. Although if I keep talking about stuff like this, that's probably not something I'm gonna have to worry about too much longer, but I want people to know about it. I want to know this exists. To me, this isn't okay. And on top of that, let's talk about this book in general and the FOMO around this book. First of all, I am a huge Clayton Crain fan. Second of all, I'm a huge Miles Morales fan. Third of all, I actually don't like this cover that much. I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm not saying it's the worst cover ever made. I'm not just trying to hate on it, but I don't think it's the best cover. I really think that I've seen better, and I would have hoped for better. And possibly the most important point is to all the flippers out there, all the people trying to buy this up and make a profit on it. I don't have a problem with that. I'm just going to say that I don't think this book's really going to hold its value. It has kind of a mystique and an allure about it right now. If the stuff about it having the stapled cover turns out to be true, that might actually add to its value a little bit. But boy, buyer beware. If you're spending $350 at $400, I've heard of some sales as high as $400 on this already. I would be really careful. This is a flash in the pan is my guess, and I'm not going to invest a lot of money in it. Remember, I didn't buy into it even when it was only $180 on a site where I actually could have gotten an additional discount too. I'm not going to buy into it. But you do what you want with your own money. What I'd like to know is what you think about this in the comments down below. How do you feel about it? On your way down to the comment section, there is a description, and in that description, there's some ways you can save some money on some comic book services, some comic book stores, and also if you want to become a channel member, there's a link for that down below as well. If you become a channel member at the $10 a month club, you actually get a chance to get cheaper cleaning and pressing from Turlock Comics, which is really cool. Plus, you help support me directly, and you get a chance to win some free comic books every month. I am a seller on Whatnot. You can follow me there. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And as always, I appreciate you watching these videos. And I want to remind you, hey, 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 hey. Read comics every day.